Okay, what's up, guys? I saw this when I first saw it on the site, and I thought I'd come back to it and I'd check out some of these decks. I think a lot of these and a lot of the decks on their meta tier list are created by Swim or at least cold hard copies from other people who are playing like pros or who are like high ladders. And so I thought, no, let's take a look at all of his decks. And I think I already did one on his Darkness Control. I think that was the first one. I think that was Swim's. But now I'm going to look at his Go Hard setup, right? I think Senna is going to be the new, like, top tier champion. So I'm excited to see what we got going on here, right? Because, wow, this is a lot different from all the other ones. So it's going to be really hard Piltover. You have this really good curve. And it seems like it's very like typical controlled deck. A lot of spells, and they're all like pretty early on. And then the rarity is pretty dominant to expensive. So, and you can't tell. I think the price was like, yeah, it's like 30,000. So it's pretty up there. I think most people who've been playing will probably have 3 Ezreals. But we have 3 Sennas. That's probably going to be 12,000 right there. No, 9,000. My bad. Catalog of Regret. Round start. Create in hand a fleeting copy of a non-fleeting spell you casted last round. Okay, this is going to be a really good card for this control deck. I can understand why you would put that in there. That's pretty good strong. Now, all these fallers are 3s, and interesting because none of them look like win conditions. When I'm 7, create a hex. Wait, is that Hexite crystal in the bottom 10 cards of your deck. Okay. Predict, create 3 copies of the chosen card in your deck. Okay. Pick a spell in the top 5 cards of the deck, create an exact fleet copy in hand. Okay. So I can see these are all just ways to get answers and removal. Okay. Okay, let's look. Okay, you have Beam, very classic, only 2. I think that's a good decision. Go Hard, drain 1 from a unit and create 2 Cosme in your deck. Once you cast me 3 times, transform all Cosmes everywhere into pack your bags. Let's just look at that, right? Oh, jeez. Pack your bags. Deal 5 to all enemies, and the next transform all Cosme everywhere back to Go Hard. Okay. Okay. No, pretty strong card. Draining, so you can at least get health back. Mystic Shot. Deal 2 damage if you don't know. Time Trick is a really good card. Predict, draw 1, so you know exactly what you're getting, only for 2 mana at burst speed, so you can still do stuff afterwards. That's pretty great. Time Winder. I think the one thing that irks me more than anything is one-off spells that are really cheap. I feel like a lot of time there's a lot of spells that don't really make sense to put one of them in. 2 mana to play, discard 1, deal 1 to an enemy, or an enemy nexus, and then deal 1 to another. This is one where I'm like, it's 2 mana. If I'm being honest, I think I would just 1-up and go for Static Shock. So I don't think you really need this. There's also a board wipe version with a Weathering Whale, whatever. We deal 1 to everything, and then you draw 1, and it's 5 mana. You have 4 mana. Like, I would rather have 1 copy of that than this. That's just me, though. And I'm not like a top tier player or anything. I'm just saying that's my personal idea. Vile Feast, pretty reasonable. Get something on the board to start doing like little damage. Aftershock, deal 3 to anything or destroy a landmark. With Senna, this can become fast. Stack Shock, of course, deal 1 to 2 targets. And then you draw 1. I think that's what makes it huge, because this card you have to discard and do it. This card you draw. And the other, like the 5 mana, deal 1 to everything. Heal 3. You get the heal 3. I feel like those have better. This one's kind of putting you down a little bit. It's like just take the L, right? Just take the little damage. I think the worst thing I can think of that will hit you that you can kill with this is the 2 mana 5 one, right? I think that's the scariest thing you'll face. but you have options to deal with that. So I think this is just taking up space that you don't need. Aftershock, I would probably want to get 2 Aftershocks over Time Winder or once again Portal. But anyways, moving on. Withering Mist, drain 2 from 2 enemies, pretty good. This can be fast with Senna. And then Piercing Darkness, only has 2, drain 5 from unit, can be fast Senna again. Great deck overall. And yeah, this is definitely like one of those decks where the main win condition is Ezreal. And you just have to play really smart because Ezreal can be killed pretty easily, so you have to hold him back a lot. And I think Senna might be a really solid win condition here. Okay, that's not what I want to see. Because she can create darkness, and she makes all of her. Yeah, and I think all of her spells cost 1 less that deal damage or kill, so that's pretty nice. And so I think overall this is a pretty good strong deck. This is I don't like control decks that much, especially ones like this where there's not a hard win condition, right? It's very slow burning damage until you get Ezreal flipped, and then it's a little bit faster, but I still prefer like at least 1 to 2 just big win conditions at the end of the game that you can have to rely on just to brute force a win. Because sometimes that's what you need to do in a lot of games, because I think you can literally take this out and put one of those in. And the argument is that's just going to sit there in your hand, and I'm like, well, you're going to have a lot of cards that get you cards, right? And so I think it'll be fine to have one dead card in your hand where you can just play and win. That's just my take on it. I think this is a pretty good strong deck. I think Swim has good decks. But I think... No, I'm not going to say anything. I was saying, this is a pretty strong deck. He makes a lot of decks. I think the biggest thing I try to tell a lot of people, when you make decks, be careful, because the biggest thing that hurts people when they just copy a deck is it's for someone else's play style. So you need to correct the deck to fit you. And a big thing is patience, right? Maybe this deck is too patient, like need a lot of patience for this deck. Maybe you don't have that, and so you maybe need to change it around a little bit to fit your style personally. But that's just me. That's just my advice. I'm sure someone would disagree with me, but that's just my take on it. I'll see you guys later.